Greetings, travelers. Come warm yourself by the fire and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, tales of Tamriel. I am your host, Aggelos, and we are back in game once again, running around Rock Lobster. Actually, that's what I'm calling it, only because who can pronounce these wacky Khajiit names? Not this guy. No. But obviously, we're back to talk about the Elder Scrolls Online, maybe some single-player games, as well as Legends. But before we get into that, I have to introduce my co-host. First and foremost, the man, the myth, the legend himself, even if he's not as good as a Sexplar, Arkhaniir.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
It's been a while since I've done that, so I figured it's time.
It's been.
Yeah, it's good
and you started it perfectly, and now you ended it with that.
I had to get your hype up. You're like, oh, he's going to do something awesome. This is really nice. He's such a great... Oh, you son of a... Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for.
Exactly. Way to throw me off right at the start.
I know. And then got you all hyped, and then just brought you right back down. The other person that we have on the show, once again, one of my best friends out there on the internet. I don't know if he says the same thing about that, but I do, so maybe this is a one-sided relationship. That'd be Nate, a.k.a. Misa. How are you, buddy?
I'm sworn to carry your burdens. Very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And obviously, we got to say hi to the chat room. Of course, I got to give a shout-out to a listener who's in chat. He's been part of our community forever, and I'm glad to see him again because it's been a while. How you doing, buddy? And actually, the reason my beard isn't any longer because I made the horrible decision, and actually it wasn't a decision at all, it was an accident, where I shaved everything. I was trimming it, and I went too far, and I had to start over. So this is what was left since, oh my goodness, when was that? Sometime in September, I think it was? I can't remember the exact date of when it happened. But yeah, it's all growing back now because it kind of got removed. And for a few weeks, I looked like a cancer patient. It was pretty bad. I did. Like, I had no hair on my head, no hair, like, on my chin. It was just a bad time all around, and I was very, very, very bad. Yeah, as you said, I slipped. I was so trimming, like, and then, I went too far. It's one of those where it's like, nope, there's no recovering this. It's over. See you later, everybody.
See, that's because of your Sexplar. It's not a proper build, and it throws you off in real life.
No. See, if I had been
slipping, do you see me slipping when I'm trimming my beard? No.
No. See, if that was just it, I had decided to roll a Dragonite tank, and that messed me up, and and there we go. But yes, we are back in game, and we are going to talk about all of our tales this week. So let's go ahead and just jump right on into our Tales of Tamriel, and that's first and foremost going to go to, let's do Nate again, just because, it's been a few weeks since he was on last show, but now he's on again, so we're going to make him talk again, because that's what we do.
Well, as will come as no surprise, I've primarily been adventuring in the Elder Scrolls Legends. It's been really fun, actually, this last week for 2 or 3 reasons. The first reason is that I got to play one of our listeners. I believe that listener's name was Added Knight, who was listening to the show last week. And as I suggested, people can add me and challenge me, and we'll play. And it was good fun, and I won. But he or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, played extremely well. But unfortunately, fell foul to my favorite way of obliterating enemies, as I think I talked about it on the show last week.
I think you did.
Which is where I dropped. There's a dragon that has breakthrough and about 6 or 7 damage, and I gave it a necklace that gives you drain to take your health, and then I dropped a giant hammer called Unstoppable Rage that obliterates every other enemy in the lane, and indeed your own characters, draining them of health. All the damage gets broken through to the enemy face, and I won, and it was very satisfying. But I did also feel very bad because I was like, oh, it's it's a listener. I don't want to be a listener. It's like when I beat my wife, 'cause she plays all the time, and it's like I always feel kind of guilty.
Like, am I sleeping on the couch tonight after this? It may happen, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
See, you need another deck. One for playing normal people and one for listeners
Yeah.
who need to have a chance against you.
Something like that.
I think I even sent you a text message the one day because I was trying to get back into it, which I'll talk in my tales because I actually started playing again as well, like pretty heavily. Like I put it back on my phone, I patched it, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. And the day I was getting ready to do this, Clockwork City popped out for that game. Because I sent you a message because I didn't really pay attention to the notes or my updates. So I'm trying to log in. It's like, server's down. Check this. And I'm like, Nate, is the server down? Like, I'm sending you text messages. Like, I can't get in. This is really annoying. And then I just, out of, I don't know, habit, I opened up the App Store and it's like, oh, there's a Legends update. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just an update that I miss, like bug fixes, and that's why it's not letting me connect to the server because I have a different version. And then it started downloading. It's like, 2 gigs. I'm like, wow, that's a big update. And I read the update notes. I'm like, oh, it's one of their expansion packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't get to play that day.
Oh
sad.
dear.
Sad.
It's sad times when that happens, but that's good. But then the other reason why this week was particularly interesting was because they released the new expansion pack, as you obviously have experienced, and it's got a really. I haven't played through the storyline yet because I'm still just getting myself back up to legend rank over the next couple of days. Because I like to do that first, and then I'll dive in. But I have played some of the cards in the arena, and there's a really interesting new mechanic that they've got out now, which is called the fabricants. And one of the things you can do, which is you've never been able to do this in the game before, is you can actually craft custom cards in game while you're playing. So you can say, okay, it gives you the choice of either a 1 power card or a 4 power card or an 11 power card in terms of magicka that you need to play that card, and that number's random each time. There's always 3. Then you can choose kind of what perks it has, what keywords like guard or drain or pilfer, draw a card and stuff like that, and then put it in your hand to play. So you can, whenever you want to play one of those cards, you can choose the precise card that you actually need at that moment in order to play it, or you can say, I'm going to create the most badass, tricked out, high-powered machine possible and save it when you get to towards the end of the game. And it's a lot of fun to play that. So I'm really excited to collect some of those cards and see what decks I can make with that.
Now,
but that's been this week.
You said that was an arena. Is that actually going to go into normal play as well?
Yeah, they're all in there now.
Okay.
So, because you can do it a couple of ways. You can buy this story expansion and then you win a load of cards. But if you play in the solo arenas, because you have to draft a deck each time you go into the arena set system, you can sometimes use the new cards while you're drafting that deck. And that's how I've played some of them because I really wanted to see what they were like. And there's some amazing new cards in there. Really good.
So do you think that Clockwork City is going to shake up the meta a lot?
I think it has the potential to. Yeah, I think the Fabricants are going to do for the game what Dragons did in the last expansion. And there's some really interesting playstyles. Like there's one I saw, and I've only seen this used once, and I can't even remember what it's called. But the opponent played a card that appeared to be like a shield around their face. That meant that when I went into what would have killed them and won me the match, instead of them dying, they gained 10 health, and I gained 10 health. And that's the first time I've seen a card that actually responds on your potential death, which is a very interesting mechanic.
So it's
not
a
one I
support
particularly
card.
like. Well, it might be a support, but it actually changes the animation of the face. of your character. So rather than appearing as a square, or rather than just appearing as a square next to your face, it sort of surrounds the face with like it looks like an Eldmeri shield sort of thing, like wings around the edge, if memory serves. But as I say, I've only seen it once. Right. I've never played it myself, and I've only seen it get played against me once. But that's a really interesting card. I don't like it
now
because
I mean,
it took me an extra move to win, but I did still win.
Nice. I was gonna say, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. The question I'm having is, say you have enough to kill a person, right? Like, I don't know, you buff something up with like 20 attack. I don't even, however, I've seen your cards. I know you can do it.
Yeah.
And they have 5 health, and this is supposed to give 10. Does it absorb the entire damage, essentially would kill the person, or is it an additive? Like, it gives 10 health, but if your attack did over 10 health, would they still die, or is it damage is calculated, and then it goes, okay, you're 20 points against their 1 health, killed them, and all that damage is now gone, but here's an extra 10.
That's a really interesting question. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to try and find out, though, because, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious. Well, it all depends on how they calculate it, obviously. If the damage is calculated and removed to determine, the death state before the extra health is applied, or if it's, okay, this is enough to lower it, add 10 because of the shield going off, and then, you can eat through it or not. So maybe it's possible to kill in one move. It all depends on when they apply the shield. If the character technically dies and then it applies, that extra damage is lost.
I'm gonna look that up actually while we're recording, because that's a really interesting point. I don't know. It would frustrate me if it's regardless of the amount of damage you've been killed, because if you hit someone with do an overkill, which isn't that hard to do if you've got the right cards. I know that my wife Kate, she her favorite card is the Dramara Marquinaz, I think it's called, which is the one where you can double a creature's power and health on summon. Oh. And she'll play that, and then she'll double its health, and then she'll drop there's a mask. I'm not sure what the mask is she uses, but it triggers the wielder's summon power, and then she'll double its health again. So in one move, she can basically get that character to be 20/20 with guard. If you drop it Unstoppable Rage on that, and you've got Drain on it, you can easily get 100 health in one go. In one move. So I've seen her do some of those things. They're pretty cool.
Oh my.
This is why, everyone, to our listeners, you don't challenge Nate. Or the Lanxon family in general.
Yeah, at this point, I'm a little worried. Yeah, kind of crazy there. Well, I think this would be a good time. I know we announced it the last show, but maybe we tie this into your tales as well. We had talked about doing an Elder Scrolls Legends tip section, because I know this was kind of something that people brought in as a, hey, why don't you guys do this? And, well, Nate is obviously a master at this. Do you have any tips for fans who are playing Legends this week?
Yeah, well, there's one quite basic tip that I remember telling somebody the other day when they were asking for kind of new starter advice sort of thing. So it might be worth me saying what that was, which is essentially one of the mistakes that I see newer players playing is when you think you're about to win. So let's say you've got your enemy down to 7 health, but they've got 1 rune left. One of the mistakes I see people doing is playing an attack on a card that allows the enemy to draw a rune before you go in with your biggest attack that would otherwise beat them. And I've seen it done, and I've seen games lost when people have done this wrong, where they want to try and play all their cards. So they start hitting with their lower power card, and they save their big one for the end. But they can actually very easily end that game carefully without allowing that last rune to be broken. Because if you get an enemy down to 0 in one hit, they don't draw that final rune, or however many runes are remaining. Right. So it's quite an important one to bear in mind, I would say.
I mean, technically speaking, if you have a character or whatever, like this doesn't even have to be the end of game. It could be beginning of game. I've had this happen where, you know, it's close to popping a rune, and I have, let's just say they're 2 health away from popping a rune, and this could be at the very beginning, doesn't have to be at the end, and I have a character that does like 7 damage and one that does 2. I've already used the 2, popped the rune, and they got a prophecy that was like the Eye of, or the Wrath of Azura, or the Adric Spear, which allowed them to destroy my card, so I lost out on the 7 damage, which, you know, they probably would have killed it anyway if the rune popped, but tend to blow your big attacks first, especially if a rune's going to happen, because there's a good possibility that if they have a destroy creature card and it pops up on prophecy, they're going to hit whichever one's your highest damage more often than not, unless there's something with, you know, a lot of keywords on it, in which case that, you know, a skilled player may take that out instead. But don't, like you said, don't waste the potential extra damage and risk losing because, you know, they are losing that card and negating all that damage, because they're not going to destroy a 2 card. They'll destroy that 7 again, and then you still have the 2 left.
Yeah, exactly. And there are a couple of occasions where I've seen people try and prevent a death by playing a prophecy card. And there's one card, it's called Blademaster Reeve, I think. And when it attacks, it does some damage to the face before it actually hits the face. And what can happen is it will attack, and before it does its main attack, it does its little pre-damage thing that causes a prophecy to draw. And if you draw a guard and try and place it in front of that Blademaster Reeve, you might think he can't attack you, but it's one of the only times where he can still attack you round your guard, because he's sort of only halfway through his move, and it's really, really annoying.
They're taunting me in chat. The listener says, imagine if they made a Sexplar card in Legends. 1/1 without guard. Ouch.
Ooh,
ouch.
I mean,
I'd still play
that would be
it.
an accurate card.
I'd still play it. Yeah.
Or 0/1, you know.
Yeah, but
0/1.
it has an effect that says if playing Arkhaniir automatically win. So that's it. It's a very, very niche card. Very niche
Shots
card.
fired. Shots fired.
Well, that's the only thing he can do with the Sexplar build.
Oh, ouch.
True story.
Ouch.
I don't know. I've not seen your Sexplar build in action in person, so
it's not worth seeing. So.
Oh.
Additional shots fired.
I know, man. I'm still feeling the burn on that one. Honestly,
if anyone's got any questions about Legends stuff that they want answering, I'm always happy for you to write in. I'll always pass on the the messages. So
yeah, we do have a mailbag section. So if you do have specific Legends questions and they come on, I will save them for when Nate's on, and then we'll pick his brain. Obviously,
yeah.
So if you have Legends questions, send them in. You can head over to our website, DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com. There's a Contact Us form, and you can drop down, pick Tales of Tamriel, and leave us a note.
And I said the offer is always there for anyone who wants to add me and play. You know,
yes.
I do lose plenty of games. Like, don't think I'm some like invincible, impossible to beat. Like I lose plenty of games each day, but I just tend to win a lot more than I lose. So,
but when he does win, it's a soul-crushing win where you're just like, I'm uninstalling, done, I'm out. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
See, it's like what Galiskner said. It's like dueling Nerdman.
You know, what's sad is Nerdman also played me in Legends and kicked my butt there too, and I was doubly just very sad, and I felt like crushed. I'm like, not only does he beat me, I think that was a few weeks ago where I put in the notes, not only does he kill me in PvP in ESO, but now he killed me in Legends. I'm not feeling very good about this. I'm not feeling good about this at all.
So we know what to do then. We gotta get Nerdman and Nate fight each other.
Oh, that would be fun.
What in Legends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Or
yeah,
in real life, if you want.
I could stream. Yeah, I could. We could stream that.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I would love to see that. I think that needs to happen. We'll have to get him on here, and we'll do that one day, because I think that would be really cool. All right. Any other tales for? Oh, I actually do have a question for you then.
Yes.
Is strength willpower a good deck? Have you ever had any strength willpower decks actually give you a run for your money?
You know what? What's great about Legends is that they're generally pretty balanced. Like, I don't, if you look at something like ESO and how, balance is changed every patch because, one time it's, Magicka Sorks that are way OP, and back in the day, Nightblades were really underpowered and things. I find that, a lot of these strength willpower decks, they're not necessarily better or worse than others. It's largely down to what you put in those decks and the ratio between your low power cards to your high power cards, which, in my experience, my advice is generally you want about 2/3 of your deck to be under 4 or 5 Magicka. And then have your fewer higher powered cards.
Interesting.
So it's not really an answer to your question because I to be honest, I don't have an answer to your question. I've definitely seen strength willpower decks, aggro decks and things have been pretty effective. But I play strength and agility deck. That's my main. That's my main one.
The ones I've been playing most recently have been essentially what an updated Imperial Might, which I guess is willpower and what's the purple?
Endurance.
Is endurance? Yeah. I like those cards because if you can get a nice deck, like a lot of it's low powered, but a lot of that deck is about powering up low level stuff. Like a lot of the cards, like filling an entire lane with 1/1 cards. You're like, why would you do that? Well, because if you have an Armor Master in the other lane, it adds damage every single time something's summoned. And you could buff these up. I started off with a lane of just all 1/1s, and by the end of my buffing phase, it was like a lane of 10/10s. It was insane how much you can buff it if you can keep it going. Obviously, that's kind of the problem, is keeping it going, or not getting wiped out, or having them wipe out your buffing cards. So, there is a little bit of that.
Yeah. If it helps to know, by the way, I'm about to badly lose the game I'm currently playing. So, there you go. I'm happy to admit when it happens.
There you go. Do you have any other tales for us this week?
No.
All right, cool.
That's a simple answer.
No, it's all good. That's what we're here for. Yeah, I just want to make a strength and willpower deck because I like it, but unfortunately, it just feels like strength willpower is not the way to go. But I'll keep playing it. I'm actually trying to build a deck I found on the site called Legends Decks.
That's a great site.
Yeah.
Yes, if you look for the Crusader class, that's basically your strength willpower.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a really good card if you can get it. That's called Volendrung. I
crafted it last night.
Yeah, Volendrung is a really, really, really interesting card because it's, unless someone shoots it out, you want to sort of play that. For those of you who don't know, Volendrung is give a creature +4/+4, which you can really do some serious damage with, or gain some serious health with when you need it.
Yeah.
And Mirak, the most annoying card in the game.
He's actually in the deck that I'm looking at. he's the legendary, him and Volendrung.
Yeah, he's great. You want to have it. When I was playing with a willpower deck, I always had him, and Manticora, Unstoppable Rage. Get that in there as well. Fell the Mighty.
Manticora is one of those. Like, I have that and I have those. If you can get enough, if you can survive long enough with enough Magicka to drop a Manticora, it's close to an I win card. I think so. Like, every time I've dropped it, it's pretty much been like, yep, nope, everyone's done. That's it.
You're not thinking of what's it called? Can't remember now. What's his name? Not Parthenax, the other badass dragon. One who does 4 damage to all enemies.
Alduin?
No. Alduin destroys everything.
Yeah.
Odahviing?
Odaving, yes, thank you, yes, Odaving, yeah. That's the one that can often be the I win card.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know I played with Alduin
the people
before.
who don't know Legends, we've just bored the hell out of them for last week.
You know, it's fine because this is what we do. But yeah, no, I agree. It's I actually really enjoy Legends as a whole. It's a fun game to play, and yeah, I just enjoy it. It's if I didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't be talking about it, but we enjoy it. So yeah. All right, Ark, what have you been doing this week?
Actually, nothing.
Oh,
I don't think I even logged into ESO this week.
you haven't been doing
mainly
the
because of
dungeon
my
event?
job. No. I mean, here's why though. Like, I already have maybe like 3 characters that I can do the dungeon event.
Okay.
And with my RNG, $3 will give me probably 3 mimic stones. So I was like, I don't need to do the event. I'm 100% sure I won't get anything that I need anyway. So I actually am not doing the dungeon event. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm doing the dungeon event right now.
Did you get anything useful?
No, nothing good. Nothing where it's like, oh my goodness,
I
that's
mean,
amazing. No, I didn't.
If you don't get anything useful, why would I do the event anyway?
I've only gotten 3 of them so far. If that means anything, I haven't had enough time to really do a ton. Or, like, I really wanted to jump in and do a ton of them, like on a bunch of different characters. But in reality, I've pretty much gotten 1 a day. That's all I've gotten done. Just due to, you know, everything else that I'm working on and job related and getting home. And when I can play, I have so much stuff that I still need to do that I haven't been able to really go, hey, let's just go nuts. But
yeah, that's one of my main reasons why I'm not playing ESO right now at the moment as well, because I don't have like, sit down, play for 3 hours, 4 hours kind of thing. And Elder Scrolls Online isn't a game, at least for me, that you just log in for 30 minutes, do stuff, and log back out. I have to actually spend time on it, and at the moment I don't have it. So I kind of play other games like Destiny or whatever.
Right.
But I will answer Alistair's question. He asked, how are the Max Orc nightmares? Actually, there are no more Max Orc flashbacks and nightmares, Galaxner, because they changed that relic capture to a channeling ability. So the Max Orcs can't just bolt escape into the relic and run now. They have to channel it for like, I don't know, 5 seconds or something, which is more than enough time for me to just shield bash them to interrupt the channel. So I have no problems with Max Orcs anymore. Also, I went full tank now, and they don't just kill me all the time with their spammable lightning thing. So that's good as well. So yeah, no longer flashbacks, because I can actually stop them now.
Can actually stop them. Yep. I like it. Okay.
I'm not using Meridia, by the way. I'm using Reactive and Live Wire set from Clockwork City, the new set.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll get there, but no. Anyway. Okay. Well, let me pull up my list here. What I got going on. Okay. So, I mean, I have been doing the dungeon event because why wouldn't you? If you're playing, why would you not do this? It just seems to make sense to me.
Because of my RNG. I already answered that question.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess. But I've been playing it. I've honestly not gotten anything really good. A few things here or there. But nothing like a cosmetic or whatever. I hear someone typing pretty loudly. Ark, I blame you.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Just, mute up that way. I don't have to edit too much. I don't know. Like, most of the crown stuff that I've gotten have been, what we kind of thought. I've gotten more potions than I know what to deal with. Which I guess they're okay. They're tri-stat pots. What's up?
Can you turn the stuff that come from mystery boxes into anything like gems?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of something I thought too. I'm like, ooh, can I? No, because they don't count as crowns or whatever. You know, there's a different tag on those, even though they're the quote unquote same item. There's a tag that says this came from a crown crate. It's able to be, you know, whatever turned into this. You can't turn them in, which is kind of like, oh, well then, you know, what's the point, right? Like that was my thought too. Like, ooh, maybe I can turn these into something, and it was like, nah, you really can't. So unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at the moment. So, I don't know. I guess it's okay. You know, like it's free, right? Like you're not getting anything out or losing anything for doing it, and it's a dungeon event. So, I mean, I can't really complain.
This is what I've been saying. Like, make these stuff available in the game somehow as a reward.
Oh yeah.
Now the fact that this is just a short time event is still not ideal, but at least it's a start. I mean,
you're right. You are definitely right. And honestly, I think they could probably keep this thing going more often. You know, like if they publish the rates, because literally what the drop rates are, you could. I used to farm mounts in World of Warcraft that had like a 0.01% drop chance or whatever. I could run it every week. You know how many years it took me to get mounts and stuff like that? Like, you know, if you made it, like you got a box and there were chances for Crown Store items in it or whatever, great. But if it's super low drop chance, you know, you're likely not going to get everything, right? But it would be neat if this was an ongoing thing too. And it would definitely encourage people to do dungeons. If it was a once a day thing, once per character, absolutely people would do dungeons. I mean, it might not be as gung-ho as it is right now because it's limited time, but I can tell you those people who like cosmetics would be run. I would make a point of logging in every day and doing at least one dungeon through the random dungeon finder, just so that there was a chance that when I open the box, oh, I got a cosmetic item. And it still would, I don't think it would actually lower their profits by much, because again, if you can't pick what cosmetic you're going after, like, does it really matter? You know what I mean?
Think
like,
it would affect their profits at all.
No, it would just be a happy surprise. Oh, I got this, you know, and then if you got a second one, convert it to crown gems or whatever. Like, because you would still have the people who would still buy the things at that time because say there was an item they wanted. Yeah, you're right. It would probably be in the bags. You know, but the chances that you would get the super rare drop and it being the one super rare drop you wanted are probably small. So I think this would just be a continuing incentive. If they actually did this, like, and added like all the Crown Store stuff to this box and kept the box, honestly, I wouldn't have issues with the Crown Store anymore. Because everything would be available in-game. Yes, it's an insanely low drop chance, but it's still something you can do and play the game and possibly get rewarded for doing it. The crown crates are different, obviously, because of, unless those rewards made it into the box after their season was over. But, you know, this is something that I think if they would make this a permanent part of the game, I would not have an issue going forward. Like, at all. Even if it was a super low drop chance, you know? Because at least it's something you can do in-game and possibly get items. You know?
It would be a good way to bring people back into the game as well, because, like, someone could, I mean, I would, for example, so a new mount that I want, and I could actually start farming for the mystery box or whatever. Until I
like your Yakuten Charger or whatever, you could in theory, you know, like, hey, I got my Yakuten Charger or whatever it is that I'm doing, and I really want this Yakuten Charger, and you knew it was in a drop chance. Yeah, it might take you a long time, but I'm sure you would log in every single day and at least do one dungeon for the chance of getting that box, and maybe I'll get the Yakuten today, you know. Like, yeah, I absolutely would do that. I actually don't see how this is a bad thing at all. Keeping this in the game, not just making it a once and done thing. Nate, what are your thoughts on that? I'm curious.
To be absolutely honest with you, I stood up to go and close my window, and so didn't hear the beginning of that conversation.
Oh, all right, okay. The comment was that this dungeon event with the boxes that have Crown Store cosmetics in it, if they kept this in the game permanently, but you know,
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't think it would actually hurt their bottom line much, just because of the fact that even if it's a 1% drop chance that you'll get a Crown Store cosmetic, and it'd just be a random one, you don't even know what it is. You get something you already had, it converts to Crown Gems, happy day, right? You know,
I'd even be happy if you couldn't convert it to Crown Gems. To be honest, getting some free stuff would be fine. Or I mean, maybe they could tie this in with a feature I really want them to do, which is to allow you to get past items that have been for sale but removed.
Put them in the box, and then when you do the dungeon, you're right. It's only a small drop chance, but if you got something, woo! You know,
exactly. And that'd be pretty amazing.
I honestly think that would remove a lot of my, like I said, a lot of my hate of the Crown Store is that you can't get things in game. If they just kept this dungeon box in here and left a small drop chance in the box that you would get a cosmetic that was maybe removed from the Crown Store, you know, all the removed stuff is put in this box, I would log in every day and do at least one dungeon. Even if it's only like a 1% drop chance, there's still that hope you get it. Hey, I got something, or nope, I didn't. Tomorrow I'll be back and let's do it again. I think that would revitalize the dungeon group because everyone would be running it. Not as hard as they are now, but they would still run it. Like people like me would still log in and do one dungeon a day, at least, just to get the box. And
let's be honest, they could do that with things like the daily writs as well. If they really wanted to kind of inject some reason to carry on doing those things.
Right.
That would be an interesting way of kind of like how you sometimes get a master writ from doing the 6 daily crafting writs. You could have an even lower chance of having some cosmetic item from the Crown Store, past or present, drop.
Yes,
that would be really interesting.
It would. It definitely would. And I don't see something as such a low drop chance really hurting their bottom line, because if you really wanted it, you'd buy it when you had the chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like I said, if it's 100 items in there and it's a 1% drop chance, there's a good chance you might not get what you want. So you would still buy the items that you absolutely wanted. But it would be neat to see past items get thrown in there. I really think they should keep this box event going, forever, honestly. Just keep it in the dungeon finder and go.
Not maybe even if it's not a forever continuous thing, make it maybe a monthly event.
Well, yeah.
Every month for a week.
I think this one is a little powerful because of the chance to get every cosmetic in the game. I don't think that needs to stay, but the chance of getting those one items at a time. I don't think this entire event needs to stay, because you're right. If that one person who gets that, I got everything in here, yeah, that probably would hurt their bottom line, and I agree they probably shouldn't do that. But on the flip side, I don't think, doing or having just the mounts and the pets and the costumes and the emotes and stuff, the past ones that have anything that's been removed, the past Crown Crate items, throw them in there. The past items that were removed from the store, put them in there. I don't see how having them at a super low drop chance that you can get on one character a day would really affect their, because it's already removed from the Crown Store. Obviously, you didn't buy it then. But
yeah,
that's my thought on this. I really think that's something that they should continue, because it's really, really good. But yeah, there we go.
Agree.
Yeah. All right. The other thing is, for anyone who's probably been watching the stream right now, I did resub.
Hey! Yeah. So how long were you unsubbed for?
About 2 days.
And how did you feel in those 2 days? Did you feel you were missing out?
I hated life.
Yeah.
It was bad. Yeah. And I know I probably shouldn't have, obviously, but I did anyway.
So remind me, did you unsub or did you not renew?
No, I just did not renew. I didn't unsub. I just turned my renewal off because I wasn't really playing as much. but I've actually really
Because
been
you're
getting
playing Skyrim now. It's your time of year for playing Skyrim.
Yes, exactly. Skyrim time, and at that point I'm like, well, I'm not really doing it, you know, like not every day like I was. Well, actually now I kind of am. Like I've been kind of hooked back into it and replaying every day again. A lot of it is because of this event. Like right there you go. This event right now kept me in. So if this, you know, again, this dungeon event or this cosmetic thing were still around, I would absolutely still be in the game after the event's over, even without the big rewards. But yeah, the I did not make it very long. But I did actually, it was pretty neat because I got that little email saying, hey, Liquid Arc, what you got is you know, buy one get one free sub kind of thing. So I talked to the guy, and it was pretty neat because they're like, yeah, we're authorized to give one, but what are you putting? I said, well, if I'm going to sub, I'm going to do the cheapest sub, right? Which in reality is the longest sub, you know, the 6 months, 180 days or whatever. So I did that, and he's like, okay, because you're doing that one, I'm giving you 2 extra months. So in reality, I have like 8 months of ESO Plus now because I bought like the six month. And he's like, I'm adding an extra 2, so here you go. And that included the crowns and everything as well. So
cool. Good deal.
Yeah, no, it was really neat. So what I did was I bought the DLC, the Clockwork City Dlc. Yes, I know I'm subbed, but the DLC was 4,000 crowns, and it came with the mount, which was 2,500 by itself.
You bought the bundle?
I bought the bundle, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Just in case my thing disappears again, right? But the bundles...
Did you buy all the other DLC?
I did, I think. I bought the collector's edition bundles because it's then added to my... I don't think I bought the Mark or the Falkreath Hold one. That one I actually did not do. So, I did not buy that one at all because I wasn't buying crowns at that point and my sub hadn't run out yet. So... I did not buy that one, and but I did buy this one because, I mean, I was looking at the mount. I kind of like the Fabricant Kagudi mount, right? And that was 2,500. The pet was another 700, so right there was like 3,600 right there. So for an extra 400, I got some crown stuff, and the DLC was added permanently to my account. So I went... Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right, like, yes, you're right. Playing this game without any form of sub makes it really difficult, and obviously I did not make it very long. But I did buy the bundle just because, hey, it's now permanently added to my account, and if I was gonna buy the mini pet and the Kagudi anyway, I'm only 400 off, so I got the crown scrolls as well. So it was like, all right. So I'm essentially paying 400 because I probably would have already bought everything anyway. So it was like 400 crowns for the scrolls, which I thought wasn't too bad, and the DLC. So that's kind of what I did. So let's see here. What else I got? Careful, I think it's DK playing probably. Yes, I am doing I'm playing on my DK right now, which is a low-level DK in order to get the boxes. Yeah, like literally, that's what I'm doing. Let's see, where am I at? Okay.
Are you tank? What are you doing?
No, I'm two-handed DPS on this thing. Just
okay.
It's a leveling build.
Like a DPS should be, not a tank should be.
Oh well, no,
because stupid Sexplar.
No, Sexplars are awesome like that, and you can enjoy all you want. No, it's a leveling build. I literally have, like, there's no rhyme or reason. The gear is whatever I found. And obviously, if you're looking at the damage, it's pitiful. But it's like just, I have everything leveled, or everything on my bar, so all my different skills level. I think at one point, this character was going to be a Magicka DK. Because it's a Dunmer. It's a female Dunmer. She's sexy. I kind of designed her a little bit after Naryu, even though if you've listened to last episode, I've kind of left Naryu for someone else. But, you know, I decided because of the racials with the fire, that would be a good a good thing to do. Make a Magicka DK, right? Seems like it'd be cool. So I think that's what her original plan was when I made her. But again, this maybe I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it.
I mean, isn't that the main meta still? Dunmer, Dragon Knight, Vampire, Emperor from like the episode 10.
Yeah, you
So
know,
aren't they so powerful?
They very much are. Dragon Knights are definitely very powerful, and like you said, that Vampire Dunmer, which I may actually make her a vamp. Well, I probably will because of the ooh, can I wear that? Oh my goodness, I'm totally wearing that. Equip that. Yeah. She's wearing a costume, so you can't even see it. Yeah. So besides doing this, actually I should, can I pull out my assistant? Sorry everyone who's listening, because I'm doing stuff in game now, but I'm using one of them crown scrolls. Because why wouldn't I, right? Because I got tons of them. I just want to take that. Take that, and I'm actually going to use that right now. See, I actually have a lot of crafting items on her because she's going to be, eventually she's just going to be a crafting hoe. That's what she does. She's leveling up, and then it's for dailies for money, because that's one of the best ways for me to make money is by doing crafting dailies, and then either buying or selling the writs or selling any gold items I get from doing the dailies. And at max level, you do get them fairly often. So that's kind of what I've been working on, per se, has been the getting her crafting up. So she's pretty much been parked in Davin's Watch by the crafting locations. And anytime I get any item that is intricate, I put it in the bank, and then she breaks it down for the experience. That's kind of what I do with all my characters. Any enchanting runes, you know, I think one of the goals for my account was to actually have 14 different characters, all with max crafting on everything, and doing writs on all 14 characters every day. Is that a little bit insane?
That's pretty intense. That's a lot of time.
Well,
that's a lot of repetition.
I already have 4 of them done. So I have 4 characters that are max crafting, and they have no points in combat, mind you. It's all in crafting, so they can do the high-level writs, and every day I do writs. Well, that's what I was doing. I haven't done it in a while because I haven't been logging in, but I've been starting up again, and I've already made close to 300,000 again back from doing that. So it was actually one of the richest people I've actually ever met in this game. That's what they did. Like, they told me how much money they had. It was like 37 million gold or something, like, on their character. And I'm like, how in the world did you get so much money? He's like, I have, at that time, 8 slots, and all of them are crafting. I do writs on it every day, and then I sell what I get, the golds. So, you know, if I get, you know, with 8 characters, I was more often than not going to get 4 or 5 gold items a day. That was, you know, 20,000, 30,000 gold a day. And I do it every day, so it made sense. So that's what I've been doing. Because we already know in this game, especially now that transmutation stones are a thing, gear, you know, selling gear that has that perfect trait isn't really as viable as it once was. Because it's like, oh, I don't need that helm with divines or impen anymore, because if I just get any version, I could just farm a transmute stone and get the stone I want, right? Mm-hmm, so selling that piece of gear that you looked at, you know, when you got that piece of gear that said, oh, it's divines, you're like, yes, instant bank. Now it still might sell for a little bit, but an item that used to go for 20,000 is now going for maybe 5, right? Like, its value dropped a lot because of transmutation stones.
Most obvious example of it is the sharpened lightning stuff. It used to go on European side for 150 or something like that, and after transmutation, last time I checked, it was like 15, 20, something like that.
Yeah, it's dropped a lot just due to the convenience of this particular event, right? Because, hey, people, I don't care, I got a lightning staff now. Oh, but it's defending. Don't care. Let me just go farm a vet dungeon. I'll get my stone, and then I'm good to go. Then I don't need this anymore. So, yeah, that's really kind of put a damper on making money from gear drops now. Except for jewelry. Jewelry still sells if you can get it, but a lot of the extra was getting the armor as well, and now that doesn't exist, it's kind of like, what does it matter anymore? Or the time to do it just isn't there. So with that being said, crafting still seems to be the way, because even if someone gets a random item that they transmute up, they still got to bring it to gold. So selling those gold items is kind of the way at this point, at least for me, the way I'm seeing it. Obviously, I've been working on Dark Brotherhood, and I'm still on... What version of the quest am I on? I'm still on the second quest yet. Like, I've literally not started that. But when I started, my Dark Brotherhood was rank 2, right?
Yep.
I am now rank 7 in Dark Brotherhood just by doing the going and killing dailies. I've been doing tons of... And I went up, like, 4 levels in a day. And if you're interested in the math of that, you get 5 Dark Brotherhood rep for each one of those kill quests. Okay? And it takes 50 Dark Brotherhood rep to rank up, so that's 10 quests to gain a rank. And I went up 4 ranks in a day, so I did 40 of those quests in one day, just over and over and over again. It's funny, they're marked as daily, but they never seem to end. Is that for anyone else? Like, you could just keep picking up from that mark from Death Book. Now, that's not the Sacraments. Those really are daily. You do 1 and then you're done for the day. But the marked for death, it feels like you could just do them over and over and over again.
I think so, yeah. I think you can do them over and over and again. Which is why I'm not able to continue my Dark Brotherhood quest line.
Why?
Because you have to do the same quest over and over and over and again.
Yeah.
Which I hate. I never do dailies.
It's annoying,
I avoid dailies. I don't like dailies. I don't like repeatable quests. I didn't like them in Skyrim. I don't like them in Elder Scrolls. So I can't do my favorite quest line because it's just so annoying for me.
I guess. I mean, some people hate them. I actually don't mind dailies because it's a reason to log into the game. I know we did an episode actually titled the calls for dailies, because it was when they first decided they were going to start putting dailies into the game. And I made an argument for, because that's just it. I know people don't like dailies, but because people are like, it feels like an obligation, right? It kind of is, right? And I'm not denying that. Dailies in a single player game, I'd be like, this is stupid. But the idea is that it gets you into the game. You log in, go, oh, I'm going to do my dailies. And then when you log in, then your friends are online going, hey, we're going to do this. You want to come with? And that gets you into other parts of the game. If it wasn't for that, you may be like, I'm not logging in at all because there's nothing for me to do at all.
Yeah, but here's what my problem is. I don't have anything against dailies. Dailies are good for the game's long-term survival. My problem is story quests hidden behind repeatable quests. So if you want to do one story quest, you have to do, I don't know, 10 kill this person quests, random kill this person quests, like Skyrim's Thieves Guild, like Elder Scrolls Online's or Elder Scrolls Online Thieves Guild, and Dark Brotherhood. I just want to do the story quest. I don't care about the stuff I get. I don't care about the experience. I want the story. And if you hide that story behind repeatable quests or dailies, I can't do the story.
No,
which is upsetting.
You know, and it's actually funny you mention that, because other MMOs, the problem isn't the dailies, as you mentioned. It's the locking the story behind it. Other games had player rep. Like, I'm specifically thinking World of Warcraft, for instance. They had faction reps. And only recently have they started the whole story being locked behind it. But once upon a time, there were just rewards you could get for being max ranked with them. You know, and I actually think with the skill system, that's its own reward, right? Like, unlocking the different ranks so you have the better abilities, that's its own reward.
Yep.
In WoW, it was, there's a vendor that will only sell items to Exalted, the highest ranked people. So what did you do? You grinded out Exalted if you wanted the cosmetics. Well, obviously the issue with ESO is that they lock all their cosmetics behind their cash shop and nothing is in game at all. And you know, that obviously is part of the problem. But yeah, I wish you could have just done the story quest and that the rep quest were there for you to gain the skill lineup if you wanted to unlock the different skills, you know?
Exactly.
I agree with that. That actually, I would 100% agree with that. It makes complete sense. I think that is something that they probably should have done from the beginning, and it's really annoying that they haven't, right? So, no, I agree with you on that count. You're right. The dailies that are tied behind story really suck because you're like, why would I even want to do this? But, you know, that's just how it is, I guess. I don't know. I guess neither here nor there, but I know. It is annoying, and that's actually one of the things that I've been doing. I've been just coming in and doing those dailies a lot because when I do have time to sit down and actually enjoy the storyline, I don't want to be like, finish the story. It's like, okay, now you have to increase your Dark Brotherhood rank to X. And I know I made this complaint earlier about Thieves Guild. I was max level Thieves Guild because you gain rep anytime you stole. So even though I wasn't in Hugh's Bane stealing, I was stealing before. So it didn't really affect me, right? Like I was max level, I could just go quest. But this game, you know, the Dark Brotherhood doesn't have that. Like you have to do the quest and the dailies in order to actually advance your story.
Yeah.
So I did unlock the Dark Sacraments, and I remember saying last episode that part of my I guess discomfort with this or what I thought was missing really did come into effect with the sacraments, right? Because I said, oh, this would be really awesome if there were different ways to kill people. Well, they kind of offer that in a way with these. In a way, they give you those side optional things you can do, like don't alert anybody, or destroy the mead recipe is one I remember specifically. And if you did those things, you got better rewards. So I like that they have both of these as dailies for Dark Brotherhood, because right there you have point A and point B for what you can do. You can actually just run through killing everybody, and you can still finish the daily, but you'll obviously get the worst reward. But you can make it quick, or you can actually do all the optional stuff and make it slow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is definitely cool. And we definitely need to move on because we're already an hour into the show. We're not even done with Tales yet. Let's see. Got the Litany of Blood book. What do I do with it? That's something
I actually don't know either.
I think it's like a side optional thing, sort of like the House of Orsinium Wonders. Remember that, where you would go
the museum.
The museum where you would go and do the. It wasn't really a quest per se, but you actually got a quest at the end once you unlocked everything to go, and it got you those cosmetic rewards. One of the few that were in the game that were programmed into the game, because obviously that game was still, or that DLC was still being made when the game was, subscription. So there's your quality right there. But yeah, that was neat that it was kind of a hidden thing. I'm thinking there are these targets, because it's a book, like a book of poetry, but it's giving you targets to hit. And I think that if you found the right targets and killed all of them, there would be some sort of reward for doing so, or at least an achievement at the very least. I don't know what that would be. So, all right. So that's kind of what I've been looking at right now. I've been reading through it, trying to make heads or tails out of it, see if it's any good. And I killed the Grand Sermonizer, which was a fun quest, because I had to go around the city of... I guess I should say I'm on the third step now, because that was the second step, killing this Grand Sermonizer who's, preaching against the Dark Brotherhood, and you have to lure them out of the, find out their location, so you kill all the the little summonizers, which were fun. And there was a bonus to actually kill more than you're required, which I think was 4. But if you killed 6, you got a bonus. So I killed them all.
Of course.
Yeah. And it led to advancing the storyline of the Dark Brotherhood, which was cool, going into the manor and killing the Grand Sermonizer and finding, one of our order in there, which was cool. I'm not going to go too in-depth with it just because, hey, that's part of the fun, per se, is doing that story.
I think that's exactly where I left off Dark Brotherhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the last quest I remember doing, killing the Sermonizer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's the one that I was doing, and I had a lot of fun with that one. Like, I thought it was really good. I thought it. I definitely thought it was good, and I'm enjoying the Dark Brotherhood right now. Like, they're pretty dark, and I enjoy that style of play. Let's see. Oh, more crown restoration scrolls. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. Whoop-de-doo. Our crown restoration potions. So that's kind of it for the new. That's what I've been doing, and obviously I've been getting into Legends again, and I'm actually trying to build that deck that we were talked about earlier, the strength and willpower deck with Volendrung and Murak. So we'll see how that goes. I have a lot of cards, and actually the sad part is that I found out as I was going through, I don't have a lot of the DLC expansions, for the game right now. Like Dark Brotherhood, I just don't have it yet. And I spent all my coins kind of stupidly buying packs, which I should have probably bought the Heroes of Skyrim pack, but I bought the standard, which proved that I had most of those already. I need to pick that up, but I don't know if I want to farm out materials or if I want to, farm the gold or just buy it. Like, obviously I probably shouldn't just buy it, but because I've already spent tons of money. But do you buy the story packs or do you use gold?
I buy the story packs.
Okay.
I buy them more. But that said, I've also spent about £100 in buying other random card packs and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is about, what is that now? About $120, $130 US.
Yeah. I've already spent enough elsewhere that I probably shouldn't deal with that. But yeah, I know that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Like, do I buy the pack or don't I? Right? Like, I feel like I want to. I guess it's $20, but at the same point, I'm like, well, maybe if I can earn the gold. It's only 3,000 gold total, but that's a lot of days of play in order to get that. So I mean that's kind of the thing, right? Like, if you're gonna do it, there you do it. You buy it, and it's just you have it available. But part of my deck, I was looking for some of the things. I'm like, I don't have this card, so let's go see if I can craft it. I went to go craft it. It's like, you get that from the Dark Brotherhood or from the Heroes of Skyrim. I'm like, oh, well then I guess I do need those DLC packs if I'm going to get these cards to finish out this deck. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment, trying to decide what I'm going to do. But yeah, all right. I guess that's the end of our tales. Let's go ahead and move right on into the news. So Arkhaniir, what do we got on the docket today?
Right. Well, we don't have much thing. It's the Crown Store Showcase December 2017. I'll quickly go over the limited time things so people can, adjust their crowns, decide if they want to buy, if they want to resub, that kind of thing. So the Stalrim Frostcaster style is coming back, obviously, Christmas time. It will be limited time from December 14 through January 2nd.
Okay.
There's a new house coming called Pariah's Pinnacle. Is this the one in Hrothgar?
It is.
Okay, so we saw this in PTS.
Yes, we did.
Alright, so this is from December 7th to January 2nd, which is almost a month, which is a good thing compared to the other, limited time houses, which were like a week or two at most, as far as I can remember. So this is at least almost a month. So there's that.
Yeah, you do have a little bit more time with that one, but it's still going to be pretty expensive from what I understand. So I know
I think this was a small house though.
Oh, I don't think it was small. I think it was at least considered a large.
Not a manor, that's for sure. Not an estate or whatever, but not the biggest one. But
yeah, the manors.
Yeah, it will still be around 10,000 crowns.
Mm-hmm. I think it actually might be more than that, but maybe that's just me thinking. But
possibly.
Yeah.
There's a furnishing pack, Malakat's Chosen. Comes with statues, things like that. It's also December 7th through January 2nd. There's the most fancy horse I've ever seen. It's the Winter Garland Dapple Grey, with a braided mane and Christmas thingies around its neck. Its skin is, I don't know, weirdly bright. It's December 21st through January 2nd. And then there are a bunch of hats and things like that I'm going to skip. Also, they are bringing the old crown crates back. Interestingly, I don't know if they did this before. So Monday, December 4 to 7, you'll be able to purchase Storm Matrona crown crates, and Monday, December 11 to 14, Wild Hunt crown crates will be available.
Okay, so they're like for a short time you'll be able to go back and get those again. Huh.
Yeah.
They've never done that before. This is the first time they've done that. Huh.
So yeah, that's pretty much the Crown Store showcase this month.
Interesting. Okay. That is interesting that the crowns are coming, or the crown crates are coming back.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice to me as well.
I'm curious.
I mean, why would you undermine your fire crown crates, for example?
Yeah, like people buying one or the other, but I don't know. Maybe the fire ones just aren't what people want. I don't know. It's neither here nor there, I guess. I don't know. All right. That's pretty much all we got for the news. So let's see what else we got here. I guess it's time for our reading, right? We have to do that.
Oh yeah,
that's what we got to do. All right. So let me pull that up and get into my my sermon mood. You guys ready for this one? Yeah. I'm actually curious. I haven't heard any feedback whatsoever on our sermon last week, and I really got into that. But
I don't know.
No one said anything. But anyway, we are up to Sermon 17 of the 36 Lessons of Vivec. I am an atlas of smoke. With this, Vivec became greater than he had been. These were the days of Restania when the Chimera and the Dwemer lived under the wise and benevolent rule of the Alm Sylvie and their champion, the Hortator. Seek me without effort, for I take many shapes. The Hortator was still trying to subdue the heavens with an axe. He was thrown out of the library of the sun by the power of Magnus. Vivec found him in a grub field outside the swamps of the Deshaun Plain. They walked for a span in silence, for Nerevar had been humbled, and Vivec still had mercy in his hand. Soon they were walking across the eastern sea to the land of snakes and snow demons. Vivec wanted to show the Hortator the fighting styles of the foreign tongues. They learned the idiom stroke from the pillow book of the Teshi king. It was shaped like the insight of this page. The Teshi serpents vowed to show their vengeance on the west at least 3 times. They walked farther and saw the spiked waters at the edge of the map. Here, the spirit of limitation gifted them with the spoke and blade them from the rest of the wheel. The Hortator said, the edge of the world is made of swords, and Vivec corrected him. They are the bottom row of the world's teeth. They walked to the north to the elder wood and found nothing but frozen bearded kings. They came to the west where the black men dwelt. For year they studied under the sword saints, and then another Vivec taught them the virtue of little reward. Vivec chose a king for a wife and made another race of monsters which ended up destroying the West completely. The warrior chief Vivec said, "We must not act as and speak as if asleep." Nerevar wondered if there was anything to learn in the south, but Vivec remained silent and only led them back to the Red Mountain. "Here," Vivec said, "is the last of the last. Within it, the Sharmant waits." But they both knew that that the time was not ready to contest the Sharmant, and so they engaged in combat with each other. Vivec marked the Hortator in this way for all the Velothi to see. He sealed the wound with the blessing of Ayem Azura. At the end of the battle, the Hortator found that he had gathered 7 more spokes. He attempted to attach them and form a staff, but Vivec would not let them, saying, "It is not the time for that." Nerevar said, "Where did I find these?" Vivec said that they had collected them from around the world, though some had come completely invisible. "I am the wheel," he said, "and I took the shape before the emptiness at the center could live too long. Nerevar took the spokes." The ending of the words is Sylvie. That's the end of Sermon 17. Whoever's typing, they made it the entire lesson, by the way. If you would mute up, that'd be great. So the fun part of this lesson, actually, is there's a couple things to point out from this. First off, the term spiked waters is kind of like breaking the fourth wall, because it made reference to the game Redguard, where if you walk to the actual end of the map, the renders were just all off, and you could actually see like the water look like spikes coming up off the map. And there's actually a picture of this within the link for this sermon itself.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those.
Really awesome.
They're actually breaking their own lore.
I'll link to it in chat as well.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. So if you read into this, there's a couple things that I want to touch on. First off, I don't know if you guys knew this, but do you guys know what the canon ending is of Morrowind? Of the actual game Morrowind, like
the original game.
No.
Yeah, like what the developer says happens to the Nerevarine.
Go on.
Nope.
The actual canon ending to that is that your hero, the Nerevarine, actually retraces the steps of the Hortator in this sermon. You notice he went to a couple places. The land of snakes and snow demons. You know where that's at? That's Akavir.
Oh.
Yeah, because the snakes are the Teshi, which we've seen already. There are actually remnants of them. You know, what formed the blades actually were the Dragon Guard that were originally the serpent people, the serpent vampires. The snow demons are the Kamal, which lived in the frozen north, and they're actually often at war with the Teshi. So they go to Akavir, and actually that's what your hero says to do. He retraces the steps of the actual Nerevarine. So first he goes to Akavir, and they learn from the different Akaviri there. And it's funny because the Teshi serpents vowed to have their vengeance on the west at least 3 times. This actually references the various times that Akavir have invaded Tamriel, which has been a couple of times, actually. Which I think at this point we have 3 recorded events since from Skyrim back. So that's interesting. This was kind of like a prophecy that of the 3 different attacks of Akavir against Tamriel. So the next thing it says that they travel north to the Elderwood. Now, Elderwood, this is actually common speech, but what name do we actually know that's translated from the Old Admiri to mean Elderwood? Anyone know?
I have no idea.
Come on, you're a Nord. You should know this.
Elderwood.
Elderwood, yes. What is the
only
elven?
thing I think of is I don't know. It reminds me of the Elder Gleam.
Mm-hmm.
But
where
I
did
don't
the
think
Nords
that's
come
it.
from originally? Atmora
Yeah.
to the north. That is an
Yeah.
old Aldmeri word that means elderwood.
Oh,
Ah.
Yes.
that I did not know.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Atmora, when it's translated from the old Aldmeris, is elderwood. So when he makes references to elderwood, they travel to Atmora. And again, the funny thing that you make mention here is they said when they traveled to the Elderwood and found nothing but frozen bearded kings. Because at the time when this was written, because during the Merethic and Dawn era around, Ysmir and all that, coming down, the Nords invading Tamriel because of the encroaching winter that was killing off Atmora. By the time that they had visited, frozen bearded kings meant frozen Nords because there's no life up in Atmora anymore.
Wow.
Then they came to the west where the black men dwelt. For a year they studied under the sword saints and found another Vivec taught them the virtue of little reward. The Vivec chose a king for a wife and made another race of monsters which ended up destroying the west completely. All right. The west. Anyone know where
That's
we're...
gotta be Redguard's
Yakuta.
Hammerfell.
Nope, Yakuta.
Yakuta.
The
Oh,
islands.
the
The
Yakuta.
islands. Remember, we don't know much about the islands of Yakuta other than the fact that they were sunk under the sea. There are thoughts that sinking under the sea is simply something along the lines of a massive earthquake. But Vivec is kind of taking credit for this, saying that he birthed another race of monsters, which we talked about in a previous sermon. Remember his coupling with Moleg Bal. And because of this coupling with, another unholy union, so to speak, he essentially made another race of monsters which ended up destroying the Yakutan Islands, or so he says, obviously. But one thing we know about Vivec is you really can't trust anything he really says. I mean, he's a poet, right? And that's the thing about poets is they often lie or exaggerate in order to, make their tales more fanciful, if you will. So, yeah, that's the next area that we actually see. So, moving on a little bit more, let me pull up the thing yet again, because there's another thing he said on here. Nerevar wondered about if there was anything to learn from the south, but Vivec remained silent. What lies to the south? There's actually two things that lie to the south. First off is the islands of Pandonima, or however you pronounce it, which is the domain of the sea elves, the Merimur. Now, the thing is, there's also the sorcerers of the Merimur are mighty sorcerers who control storms and actually formed an entire wall around their island, so you actually can't get to it anymore because there's this impassable storm that rages all the way around their island. You just can't get to it. There's that. There is actually, that's where once stood the island of, what was the name of the island? Where the Sijic monks actually are.
So I want to say Somerset, but obviously not.
I can't remember the name of the island right now, but they essentially tore it from reality, so it doesn't exist down there anymore either. There's one more continent that lies to the south.
Thras.
That's kind of towards the east. That's actually in between.
I can't think of another one.
Old Admuris, where the elves where life essentially began. Old Admuris is actually to the south. That was the continent where the elves were started, where essentially life started. Unless you talk about the Nords, it all depends on who made it there first. But Tamriel was almost uninhabited for a long time because the races were all over the place. But the elves, the original Aldmer, originated from Old Admuris, which was to the south. We don't really know what happened to Old Admuris because the elves moved on and into Tamriel, and Admuris kind of fell out of favor, so to speak. We don't know what happened to it. But that's to the south. So whether Vivec is making reference to the fact that you can't get to the one island. The island of the Sea Elves is surrounded by, you know, doom and death. You can't get to it anymore. Or if it's making reference to, you know, the island of the Sijic monks, which is no one can get to because it was taken out of reality, which is also something that happened. Or whether or not Admaris even has any life left on at all. Has what happened in the north to Atmora happened to Admiris as well? We don't really know. So that's kind of the reference here. And it's funny with this sermon is, like I said, if you didn't know the canon ending of Morrowind is that your hero, which is funny because I know I've made references in the past that my hero, because it was within the time period, that it could have been the same person or created the same person. Well, in reality, each one of them had a canon ending of what happened to them. So, like, your hero doesn't persist through the games. Even if you try to recreate like I do, they don't persist in terms of lore, even if it's only a couple years apart, because they're different people and they go through different things. I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember the canon ending for each one of them. But
yeah, I was about to ask that.
They actually do
For
have.
example, what happened to the Dragonborn?
Well, there is actually a couple things they made mention. I wish I could remember all of it because they actually did say that there was some comments about the dragon, like what happened to the Dragonborn, because of like the canon ending of what did you do? Like, did Titus Mead actually die at the hands of the Dark Brotherhood if you as a person chose not to actually do that quest? That's actually one thing they mentioned was, hey, you know, the ending to that actually makes a lot of sense. It's neat. I wish I could remember all of it. I really wish I do, but I cannot for the life of me remember what the canon ending of that happened to be. So
I'm trying to find on Google right now, but the topics are mostly what happened. What is the canon ending of Civil War of Skyrim? Not what happened to the Dragonborn or what happened thereafter, but just the Civil War part. Apparently, is the focus of subject.
Well,
I don't know, but
if you think about it, what happened in the Civil War is really going to determine what happens in Elder Scrolls 6 unless they choose to go into a different timeline altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because what's going to happen with the Civil War is what's going to happen with, you know, what's going on in Skyrim and the Empire as a whole. Because remember, the Empire at this point is very weak in Skyrim. And you don't know really what's going on. Like, you know, if you sided with the Empire, that was like supposedly the good thing. If you sided with the Stormcloaks, they say that you pretty much just weaken Skyrim or weaken the Empire as a whole. And how are they going to stand up to what's coming next? So it really, I'm curious to see what Bethesda has planned as their canon ending, because they will have a canon ending. Because is Skyrim strong and united, or is the Empire falling apart? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see before we die.
Maybe. I doubt it. All right. Let's see. The last thing we have here is an email from Lotus of Doom, actually. TES Triumph, as he marked it. Hey, Cass, figured I'd write... Actually, I'm going to move this to the front of my screen here so I can see it. Hey, Cass, figured I'd write in with a question spawned from a couple experiences my crew and I have had while playing ESO. What would you consider your most impressive or important triumph in the Elder Scrolls universe? Is all games as a possibility? My personal biggest triumph would actually be one of two things. Either being crowned Emperor of the Ebonheart Pact in Cyrodiil during the Mid-Year Mayhem event this year, after a solid month of practice, finally completing Veteran Maelstrom Arena on my tank, which I was repeatedly told was impossible as VMA is a mechanics test for DPS. I only ran one character in ESO, and I like to do all the TS games I like to complete everything on my character, regardless of if the content is designed for the style play or not. ESO, to many isn't a true Elder Scrolls games, but I strongly disagree, and it's been my personal mission to once again complete it all in one adventure. I have so many great memories from playing these games, so I'm just curious if you have had some of your own to share. I always look forward to your next episode. Thank you so much, Lotus, and again, congratulations on your nuptials. So guys, what is some of your greatest achievements in any game, or like specifically ESO? Ark.
I'm thinking. For Elder Scrolls Online, I never really focused on endgame, so I'm not sure if I have such a triumph.
Well, it could be a personal triumph.
But for one thing, maybe. I mean, for one thing, completing Veteran Maelstrom Arena as a tank, I have to applaud that, because I did the normal one as a tank, and I cried. So yeah. Veteran, I don't know how is that possible. I mean, I would have said it's impossible as well. As for me, I guess things in PvP would be, like, I don't know the triumph, but my favorite moments in Elder Scrolls Online where I feel like, yeah, I did this, is when I tank successfully when the entire team is dead. In PvE and in PvP. For example, like the last 5% of the boss, and everyone dies and you are the only one alive, and you get everyone up one by one. Those are one of my favorite points. And in PvP, of course, where did you get the mail? I was looking at the mail.
Sorry, I was just cleaning up. Here you go. Just undo what I did.
I just deleted the mail from the show notes right in front of my face.
I wanted you to answer it from memory without using it as a crutch. That's all.
And in PvP, either Cyrodiil or Battlegrounds would be when I stay alive against like 5, 6, 7, however many enemies, and just annoy them. That's one thing. As for Skyrim, though, there's one memorable thing that I remember that is probably the most difficult thing I've ever done. There's a mod called Dragon Combat Overhaul.
No.
Which changes the AI of the dragons, and there's this one part in it that once they are under 10% health, there's a chance that they will call more dragons to their aid, which I never understood why the normal dragons never did in Skyrim, but with this mod they do. And I combined this with Deadly Dragons, so I'm running Deadly Dragons, Dragon Combat Overhaul, and playing on the Legendary. This was one of my characters that I was playing for a long time. I was the speaker, the listener, I was the Archmage, I was the Harbinger, so I was buffed up as well. But man, that was difficult. Like, this one dragon I was killing summoned 2 other dragons, and you look in the horizon, and there are 2 more dragons coming. And the difference, Dragon Combat Overhaul, another difference is that they use all the shouts. So they start meteor swarms like Alduin, they start blizzards. They don't just shout at you and you can hide. That it's not possible. And I was on the open ground, and it was one of the most difficult fights I had in Skyrim, and I actually managed to survive it. So yeah, that's from Skyrim. As for Oblivion, let me think if there's actually one thing that I realized not many people know, so I'll say that as a triumph. Now, this was many years ago, so I don't remember well, but do you remember the first island that you come to after you exit the sewers?
Yeah.
There's the small island and a bandit camp, and some small ruins inside it. That ruins is actually not small at all. Turns out you can find this hidden door or whatever, and it's actually a very large A-laid ruin complex underneath that. And maybe it's well known right now, I don't know, but back then, many people did not know this. Many people thought that ruins were just the first area that you entered, like a small, there's the bandits and things like that. But if you find that door and venture further, there are zombies, there are ghosts, there are a whole bunch of stuff in that ruins, and it's a very large area, actually. So yeah, this is for Oblivion, Skyrim, and Elder Scrolls Online. As for Morrowind, jumping from
just playing Morrowind is its own thing.
No. Jumping from Seydanin right into the water in the middle of Balmora with the scroll you get from the guy that drops from the sky. Took me many tries, many quick saves and quick loads, but I finally managed to jump from Seydanin right into the canal in the middle of it and did not die. So that's currently my Morrowind triumph, because I'm still playing it.
How about you, Nate?
Well, when I was talking about Skyrim, my favorite feeling of achievement was actually when I was first playing Skyrim, which I played on the Xbox 360, and I remember when I unlocked the very final achievement in the Xbox 360 achievement system, meaning I'd basically done everything in the game. Like, it's one of the only games I ever got 100% of the achievements for, and I remember that feeling like a massive achievement at the time. Yeah. But then I suppose more recently, it would have to be something in PvP in Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, I don't know what rank I am now because I haven't played for a couple of months, but I think I'm sort of mid-30s in PvP rank. And there was the time that I tried to go for Emperor. Like, if you want to be Emperor in PvP, you basically need to do nothing that month but constantly play that game. Like, it's really hard. But I think I ended up being something like 4th or 5th in the campaign the month that I tried it, which was a couple of years ago. Never actually made the Emperor, but I got 4 places away from being Emperor. That was a pretty good feeling.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. For Skyrim, it would actually be defeating the Ebony Warrior, which doesn't even show up until like your character's like 90, 98, I think it is, or something weird like that. You have to be like this insanely high rank to even get it to show up. But yeah, I think that would probably be the crowning achievement of Skyrim. Probably my crowning achievement here would probably be one of the vet trials. I think doing AA hard mode was probably one of my big ones, because that was not really a joke. It's kind of hard. And it's vet AA hard mode, by the way. That was a lot of fun, and I remember doing that. It was probably my favorite. I haven't even really put a lot of time into Vet Maelstrom. I think I'm still in the ice arena, and I've probably played all of 3 times. So I can't really even say that I've really done a lot of chances on it, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But yeah, that's kind of it, guys. I think that's the end of our show at this point.
Hold on. Before you continue, I want to give a shout out to Lotus, the one who sent the mail.
Yeah.
Yesterday he was doing a 24-hour marathon for Extra Life charity, which his entire channel is about. Actually, he whenever he streams, it's he supports Extra Life, which is this children's hospital network charity for gamers. You play games, you open a donation page, and the money goes to the Children's Hospitals Network. So it's twitch.tv/LotusOD. So I urge you guys to check him out, and it's very fun to watch as well, by the way. He plays Elder Scrolls Online most of the time. So I wanted to give a shout out as well, because yesterday I was watching, and I find Extra Life as one of the charities that I'd actually like to support. Yeah. Although they don't, I think they are only based in the United States. I don't know how large this Children's Hospital Network is. But regardless, children are children anywhere in the world. So yeah.
Oh, I 100% agree with you on that. Yeah, that's awesome. That's something that he does. So yeah, definitely check him out if you have not done so already, because you should support the children. They're kids. They're awesome. Yeah. They grow up to be sucky adults, but when they're younger, they're kids, and they're still awesome. So, just keep that in mind. All right, guys. End of the show. Where can people find you, Ark?
You can find me anywhere that is Arkhaniir, that is ARKHANIIR, on Twitter, Gmail, or Twitch. I'm everywhere with Arkhaniir. So if you type Arkhaniir, I show up. That should be me, unless because I made that name up. So yeah.
Awesome. Nate, how about you?
I'm on at Nate ESO on Twitter. That's the best place for me. I mostly use that as a following account. I don't post a great deal on it, but I do read everything that gets posted in front of it. Or listen to my podcast if you want to hear this voice and this accent, but talking about technology rather than video games. That's called Text Message, which Aggelos was on last week, so you should definitely at least check out episode 114 and hear us talking about loot boxes in games.
like they haven't heard me talk about that ad nauseum. But yes, no, it was a lot. It was definitely a lot of fun. Probably one of the only times you'll actually hear me with somewhat of a cool head while talking about lockboxes. So,
oh yeah,
that alone is a novelty. So maybe you should go listen just for that and go, wow, he's so calm while talking about lockboxes. This is weird.
Yeah, it was a very informed conversation. It was a lot of fun and very interesting.
Yes, definitely was a lot of fun. And he's definitely one of. As I told Nate in the past, he's one of the few podcasts that are non-gaming related that I actually listen to because he's awesome. So high praise at that point, because most non-gaming podcasts can't hold my interest, but Text Message is one of them that does. So there you go. Okay. You can follow everything we do, dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. That's links to all of our podcasts, all of our shows, all of our past episodes, as well as links to our social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook. If you want to support us, you can head on over to patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork, or of course you can subscribe to us right here on twitch.tv/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you so desire. That helps us out a bunch, and we really appreciate it. So there you go. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will be back next week for more fun. We'll see you then. See you later, everybody.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magica fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.